from Volos in Greece. We're at anchor today, so tender boats are running. Heard the lifeboat coming down about 6 o'clock, I think it was. 6:30 maybe, it was early anyway. You've got to get a tender ticket to go across to the island today. The call-in numbers, so I've heard some of those binging through the cabin. I'm not in a rush. We're in Volos, Greece on Marella Discovery today. It's a tender port. We got told by email that the seabed got ripped up in the winter storm, so it's not deep enough for us to go into port. So we're out at anchor. Tender boats are going to take us across. So I'm going to go and explore, see what there is to offer in Volos today. If you're enjoying the videos, do give it a like, don't forget to subscribe and come along on the adventure with me. So I've come to squid and anchor. It's not open tender. I've got my little ticket. They've just called 906, so 100 people to go. That might be one tender boat. So just hanging fire for now. So they've just called the tender tickets up to 1008. Yep, it's not my lucky day.
Good morning everyone, may I have your attention please. We are now operating an open tender service and therefore there is no need to collect any tender tickets from Sweden Anchor. Once you are ready to head ashore, please simply make your way to the gangway located on deck 1, midship area, using the red staircase or lifts. Please have your ship's cards ready to be presented on the gangway. Please be advised as well that the last tender from ashore will be at 4 p.m. Once again, we are now operating an open tender service and therefore, there is no need to collect any tender tickets from Sweden Anchor. Once you're ready to head ashore, just simply make your way to the gangway located on deck 1, midship area, using the red staircase or lifts. Please have your ship's cards ready to be presented in the gangway. The last tender from ashore will be at 4 p.m. Have a lovely day here in Volos.
So typically, I have just managed to be the first one with a ticket that doesn't need a ticket. But it doesn't matter, because at least I got to show you what it's like getting tender tickets. Now I'm going to show you what it's like getting a tender boat. So you do need to see your card to beep off the ship. So you never need that down on deck 1. So down a few steps. And this one, black nice and easy. this is Volos, so it's not the prettiest of cruise terminals. Welcome to Volos. This is the place to go to the Meteora monasteries, if that's one of your things. It was a bit of a long day trip for me after a day trip yesterday, so I decided not to bother, but there are things to do here. It's a stopping off point, I think. It's a little walk out the terminal. I got on board about 25 past 11, maybe half past, and it's just 5 to 12. So about 25-30 minutes in the little boat across. Quite scenic. Sat on the top, got views of the ship. I think they're trying to open up some of these industrial ports in the north. Obviously, you go down to places like Santorini and Athens, they're really overcrowded with tourists. This isn't touristy, it's not been developed at all, but I think if enough cruise ships came, it might well do spread people out around the Med a bit. Now, you can pay €5 for a bus, or there's a hop-on, hop-off bus, or it's about a 20-minute walk into town. I think I'm going to walk it, and then I see stuff, because I think the bus just takes you there. Not more seeing it yet, but as I've just heard somebody else say, if you go on a bus, you miss things, whereas walking, you actually get to see it. Very much feels like I'm in the back streets at the minute, and not the prettiest of places. I think it's just a case of getting to the main road into town. So the floor's got little markers, just so as you know that you're in the right spot, because it's not anything to look at. A couple of people who picked up tourist maps, and clearly I wasn't being observant, didn't see one. But it's alright, I printed my Google map, so I know roughly where I want to go. Up ahead, you can see the mountain, isn't it? It's not completely unscenic. It's just not a fancy bit, is this? We're in civilization. Yeah, don't be put off by the first couple of steps. It's opened up into something a bit more exciting. Now we're on proper paved footpaths. Following the main road. Got the Greek flag there. And then just round the corner, that's a little harbour. Spotted 31 degrees C today at 10 past 12 here in Volos. It's been really warm. This is August, so what do you expect from Greece in August? You can smell the sea here. Smell fish actually, but there you go, they're in the sea, aren't they? So now I'm coming up to the port. Now, a cruise port is now all the way over there. And this is passenger terminal port. Now, I can see there a sign for quite a few Greek islands. Skiathos, heard of. I've heard of Skiros and Alonissos. In fairness, I've never heard of all. Place to come for a bit of Greek island hopping. On the list for one day. It's not, I mean, much more than like 10 minutes to get down here, I think. Maybe 15. That's the bus just coming round. So that's going to take you through the centre. Your €5 for the bus, it's an all-day ticket, so once you've got a ticket you can hop on and hop off and go wherever you like. Some of the bits of town are a bit scruffy, but the scenery just as spectacular as it was in Thessaloniki yesterday. If you haven't watched that, do have a look at the video. If you like finding a bar or a restaurant, obviously lots of bars along this, so it's a whole promenade all the way down, full of bars. You never know, I might do that later on. See how many time goes. The last tender's 4 o'clock, so I've got to be back at port for them to get the last boat back. All the boats 4:30. I literally spend nothing on sunglasses for the simple reason I've just dropped another pair and broken the arm. Putting it to my face for a bit. The thing I like about travelling, you find places that remind you of others. And weirdly, this one reminds me of Sydney in Nova Scotia, not Sydney, Australia, the one in Canada. The bay with all the hills around it. They're not exactly the same by any stretch, you wouldn't compare the photos, but memories. This is the Holy Church of Constantine and Helen. I think I'm fully dropped off my sunglasses now, so I'm balancing them on my one ear. So the really touristy bit ends probably where the church is, the easy walk, and then there's some cafes and bits of stuff for kids. And now I'm at a hotel, the city resort here in Volos. The town centre seems to be that strip along the waterfront, and obviously near the hotels you have more restaurants. So if you're staying here, there's a lot to see if you were staying here. You're coming for the weather perhaps. It's not a beach as far as I can tell, so that's probably why it's a resort. Down, see if I can find the Archaeological Museum. So again, once you get past the hotels, it's out into another nice open space on your paved paths. So it is actually, there's a little bit of tourism here, you know. It's not a complete isolated place. And I take it back, there's a beach. Not exactly golden sands, but yeah. You like just sitting watching the water. Going for a swim, why not? Down the side of this little cafe, and now you see the ship there really close up. The tender boat's coming back in. Another little walking place along the seafront. Bet this is nice to sit outside at night to get the brollies up. And especially with the temperatures like we've had. The temperature's been lovely at night on the ship. It's been too warm during the day, but not unbearable. So, Volos. It's not the prettiest port I've ever been to. I'd heard some really ropey stories about it, that it's not a nice place, but actually it's really quite pleasant to just walk along the seafront. I mean, it's a bit scruffy in places. It's not a tourist destination by any stretch, but if you want to go on tour, it's a good stopping off point. I'm just enjoying walking in the sunshine. It's taken me about an hour. I've walked past that long central strip, which is as nice as anywhere. It's just quite short, really. I'm a bit further out now, so you find these nice little statues and things like that. Come for a good view of the ship, if nothing else. But yeah, I'm quite enjoying my walk so far. I'm still heading towards the Archaeological Museum. It's just about 1 o'clock, so it's taken me an hour from the other end of the port, which means I've also got an hour to get back there as well. So I need to make sure I build in plenty of time before 4 o'clock. So there you go, actually, if you walk far enough along, there's the beach. So there is a beach, and actually it's a sandy one. So I have just spotted a bus at the bus stop, which made me think that there might be some reason for the bus stopping, because I knew I was near the museum here. And I think this is it. I think this is the Archaeological Museum. It's got a little small garden with bits of ruins in it. I don't suppose you can come to Greece without finding an ancient column here, there and everywhere. The Archaeological Museum, it's open from, it was like 8:30 to 3:30, closed on Tuesdays. So what day are we today? I don't actually know. It's not Tuesday anyway. Let's go and have a see. I'm not going to film all the way around this. I'm going to enjoy looking around. It costs €4 to get in. I do already like this museum because the inscriptions are in Greek but also in English. That one reminds me of the Marella Discovery llama, although these are about 4,000 BC, so it's like 6,000 years old. These clay figurines are like 8,000 years old. 8,000 years ago they were making sculptures. These are ancient cities from the 8th to the 10th century BC. Gold's only from the 2nd and 3rd century BC. It's quite new. This is a catalogue of all the people who lived in Feria thousands of years ago. Imagine your name still being on stone. It's a bit like a census, but being on the census, but in 2,000 years' time. that's a nice little museum to visit. I've only been in about 40 minutes. It's not huge. It's got lots of stuff going right back to the Neolithic, so 10,000 years ago, 12,000 years ago even, and then some more recent stuff. But by recent, still in the BCs. So yeah, really nice. Not too big. So actually, when you've walked along the front, it's worth stopping for like half an hour, 40 minutes, like I say. Have a look around. Depends how much you want to read, I guess. Some of it was just in Greek, but there was quite a lot in English and Greek, so you could work out what stuff was. And yeah, quite enjoyed that. Now I'm just going to turn back and wander back along that front and head back to the boat for the ship. So it took me an hour and a bit to get here, but obviously I was filming and looking all the time. So now I'm going to do more of a stroll and just see what I see along the way. When I was at the port, they did say that the hop-on, hop-off bus stops. The last stop is the Archaeological Museum. So it does come here. So if you wanted to come on the bus and not do the walking, you can definitely do that. I guess the museum will be a bit more crowded if you get a bus load with you, but it was perfect for me. I think I was the only one in some of the rooms. I wasn't very observant coming out of the port. I did see some people with some tourist maps, which do seem to match this one with the numbers on. So there are a few things to see. I'm down at here, number 9. The Archaeological Museum, and I'm going to go all the way back now, head back through the town, go back to catch the ship. I've actually not gone the convoluted route this time, so it's actually quite a straightforward, straight path if you just follow the main walkway. Get to the museum, no problem. And it is worth noticing that you get to the beach that way, so if you want a beach day, because there's not huge amounts to do, and some people do like that, you could get the bus up to the beach instead. Or you could walk it. I definitely think if you can walk, I think it's worth it. Enjoyed this. Back to the Church of Constantine and Helen. And a waterfront. So I'm heading back over to where those cranes are. Just going to cross to the other side of this park on the waterfront. You get things like this little church. Also, they've got little tram lines in the road. I don't think there were any trains. Oh, a little turning circle. I'm guessing there are no trains anymore. They've kept the tracks as sort of a memory. It's a piece of art in itself, is this? I was saying before about the waterfront reminded me of Sydney in Canada. Now following the old train lines reminds me of the High Line in New York. Everywhere's got a version of the same thing. If you travel enough, everywhere starts reminding you of everywhere else. So I've come back one step back from the waterfront. It's much more like a busy shopping street. I'm going to look to see if there's anywhere I can get some sunglasses. If you want to do some shopping, cakes and drinks, and there are the odd bars and cafes and things, clothes shops. I don't know if the place is closed for lunch yet. See, pharmacy, they're sometimes good for sunglasses. Let's try that one. Sports clothes. Pharmacy's open from 8 till 2 and then 5 till 9 because everyone shuts for lunch because it's probably the heat of the day. Different kind of lifestyle. The centre is quite a nice paved shopping centre, so if you like shopping, come down this bit and just stick to the waterfront. Clearly some of the shops are closed. Some are open. The more touristy, the more likely they are to be open. Of course, you come down the back streets and they have little churches as well. So, helpful pharmacist there. He only sold prescription glasses, which is no use, but he did point me in the way of the shopping mall. Unfortunately, that's closed because it's lunchtime until this afternoon. But he did say try some of the side streets. So, we'll see what we can find on the way to the ship. Not sure they'd suit me, but close for lunch. And then you're really missing home. They've got a Marks and Spencer. A little supermarket saved my life. Only €5 for a pair of sunglasses. They fold up and everything. So to be honest, the arms fold, the middle folds, everything folds. So plenty of bits for me to break. But see if they can last me until I get back to the ship at least. Got these beautiful churches. Lovely mosaic designs that they all have. was expecting Volos to be a really tiny little place. It's quite a decent sized town. The shopping streets are quite nice actually. So where I've turned down from the shopping street, I've come back to this promenade that I started on way back at the start. It's just about 2:45. I see the ship over there in the distance. So now turn back. Now, as I remember, it gets a bit scruffier from this point on. I think actually the promenade's not so bad for a little while. And we get back into that less glossy bit. I think your first impressions might let you down a bit because it looks a bit scruffy when you get off the ship at the cruise terminal. But now, having been in the town, I actually like the town quite a lot. A little bit of history, a little bit of scenery. There's waterfront, the weather's gorgeous, beautiful blue sky, don't complain at that. Found it, a little gate back to the ship. I suppose this is what you get utilising a cruise port. Oh, Volos Overseas game. I'd like to come back just because there's a tour that I could have done. I really didn't want to do 2 tours, but the monastery sounds amazing. I think a lot of these little ports up in the north of Greece are stopping off points to more exciting places. But so far, if I'm enjoying my adventure, make sure you like and subscribe, then you don't miss any more of it. Can do afternoon tea, so I'm just having a few little sandwiches because I haven't had anything to eat this afternoon. Getting ready for the bingo. So while I was in Squid playing bingo, I didn't win, by the way. We've set sail from board. We've actually left Greece now for a day. We'll be Turkey tomorrow, so wish me. So I've just crossed to the other side of the ship. And there's sun on this side. And the scenery in Greece is really surprising me. I've got how mountainous it is. Had a lovely day in Volos. Yeah, really enjoyed it. And now we're sailing away. I'll get myself ready for tonight's entertainment. Just got back to my cabin and we're sailing past this town. Look at that, up on the hill. Now, not one of the tours here was to some monasteries that are up on a hill somewhere, so whether or not that's where they went, I don't know. This is one of the perks of having a window cabin though. I'm downstairs tonight in 47 degrees. I keep changing my mind what I'm having to eat, but I've got my Pinot Grigio, a glass of water, and I do like a little bread roll. Downstairs, you don't get all the Italian olives and stuff, but it's different style, so that's good. So tonight I've gone for haggis, neeps and tatties. I've had this before and I know it's good, so I thought why not do it again. It's not something I'd have at home. So for mains I've gone for Hunter's Chicken, which is a bit pub grub, and I would actually have this quite a lot in a pub. And I just really fancied it tonight, so sometimes you just want something ordinary. So this, I am assured, is 0-calorie apple pie with custard, with extra custard because they never give you enough. And I'm still on my first glass of wine. 4 or 5 top-ups now, because I've been assured I'm not driving. So there you go, 0-calorie apple pie and I'm not driving wine. Ooh. Missed the sunset, but got that lovely little red glow behind the mountains. Look how beautiful that looks. Look at that area up there. Beautiful Greek islands that we're sailing past. I'm saying Greek islands, we're probably Turkish islands now because we're heading to Izmir, Turkey. We're there tomorrow. Promenade deck is quiet. Now we're heading up to the pool deck because tonight we've got an impromptu silent disco. There's a reason for that. You can't see the live room and they've shut the curtains, but it's closed tonight because apparently while we were all asleep last night there was a fire in there. It was only a little one and they did contain it, but apparently it's still the place out. So they're doing a deep clean to get the smell out. So So the library and stuff's all been moved to the pool deck. So, you know, they deal with these things without blinking. I mean, you know, how you plan for that, I don't know, but they just get on with it.
Going to join us very shortly, but Sri Lanka, are we all going to get involved?
Team's doing a tribute act tonight. I saw her last night doing little bits. She was really good, so we're in for a treat tonight. Also, I do like a Brooklyn lager, which they're giving out on the door. So they have the beers ready at the front door. If you don't bring one with you, you can just pick one up as you come in. Well, on this side, I've still got my San Miguel from earlier. .411 is even. It's 5-2. I'm back. I could have stayed out longer, but you know, I feel like I'm being sensible. What we're saying, Teddy, Polar Bear, I don't know, and Ishmir tomorrow, or Izmir, I don't even know how you say it. And ooh, a little chocolate on the pillow. I've got a bit of the munchies, so I might have my chocolate before I go to bed. So yeah, another fabulous night. I could quite happily just stay on ships forever, to be honest, but there you go. Good night.